What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Show Me What I've Been Missing. I am one of your hosts, Chris Mack, and I'm here with
Elizabeth Stanton.
yes, and we are here to talk about Sex in the City, Season 2, Episode 9, Old Dogs, New Dicks.
New
First of
tricks.
all,
It's old dog, new trick.
no, it's New Dicks.
No, it's not
It's
new.
Dick.
No,
It's
young
New
man. Old dog,
Dick.
new tricks. I'm gonna Google the episode title.
No, it's New Dicks because remember he gets circumcised in the episode, so it's a new dick.
No.
It's a new dick.
No. Get your ears checked
Oh,
and
Old
get your
Dog New Tricks
eyes.
is the phrase, but they are playing on it. It's a pun of the phrase. It's New Dicks.
No.
It's New Dicks.
Oh, it is new dicks.
He gets a circumcision, remember? It's a new dick.
I swear I was looking at the TV and I saw old dog new and my brain was like tricks. I'll censor it for you.
It's new dick.
Well,
man,
my
that
1,000
skin peeled back.
pardons. My goodness.
Got the skin peeled back. That's a new penis, which we're going to talk
With a
about later.
potato
Sorry,
peeler.
guys, spoiler alert, there's a circumcision involved.
Yeah.
If you haven't watched the episode, this is on you. You should watch the episode and then come
Old
and
dog, new dicks. Man, oh man, I swear, stack of Bibles on my Roku HBO Max app.
Look,
I
I'm not
swear.
always wrong. Sometimes I know.
No, I
what the
know.
fuck I'm talking. Sometimes. I didn't say all the time, just sometimes. Oh man.
That's my bad.
So let's get into this episode because there is a lot going on. Where do you want to start?
Where do I want to start?
Who do you want to talk about? I feel like I'm always like, let's talk about this. Who do you want to talk about first? Whose story? I guess it's only two stories involved. It's really just Carrie.
2 or 3. Right? Samantha's is like she's just kind of there.
Yeah. It's Carrie, Samantha, Carrie,
Miranda and Charlotte.
Miranda and Charlotte. It's really this story, yeah.
Samantha's just got some jokes. Yeah, let's just get into the Charlotte story. Okay. Let's just get it out of the way.
So Charlotte is dating a new man, of course, because she's like a serial dater. She's like always with a new guy.
They're always dating.
Okay, let's talk about that first, period. Let's just talk about that. Because
I'll say this. Every TV show I've watched where people are like single and trying to find love and they're always dating, they always have new boyfriends and girlfriends or what have you.
Yeah.
For the longest time I was like, I'm so behind. I've not dated that many people. Oh no. And then like finally talking to other people, it's like, I've dated like 5 people over my lifetime. And then everyone's definition of dating is different too. Is it just hooking up or whatever? Either way, don't let shows dictate how you live or think. Especially if you're an impressionable little teenager.
I feel like in this case, you can kind of learn something from her because maybe I'm just a different kind of person, but I feel like her dating habits are a little bit unhealthy.
Yeah, I mean, all of them are in a way.
Well, yeah, sure, but
to varying degrees.
To be more specific, the frequency of which she's like always dating somebody. It's like,
and it's always someone like, I see he's the one. He's gonna be the one.
Right. And I'm just like, it just seems unhealthy because it's like, it seems like if not every other episode, it's like she's dating somebody new, and it's always like a few weeks apart. Now I noticed that yes, the relationships don't last no longer than like a month or 2, but it's like you're just like she's like she takes like 2 weeks off of after every relationship, and then like it's right back into another one, and that just don't seem like healthy. Like, are you learning from it? Are you growing from any of this experience? Or are you just like, you know what I mean? Like, because I respect the willingness and to like keep trying. I know that's hard, especially in a city like New York where you probably run into a lot of crappy people and things. Any kind of metropolitan city, like a lot of like good people, bad people, whatever. But like also there has to be a time where it's like, okay, you're not really giving up, but you got to take a break, right? Like, at some point you got to figure out like maybe something ain't right. You know what I mean? Because again, but you know what though? I will say this. She's consistent, right? Because she keeps finding great guys, but they have like one little weird quirk.
Always something weird with that girl.
She happens to date a guy right now in this episode that is uncircumcised.
Yes.
Now, how do you feel about that?
I no strong opinions one way or the other. It's more common than they implied in the show. Well, you should say circumcision is more implied than they, or more common than they implied in the show. Yeah. I went ahead and did some Googling. You know, I love a Google. So let's see. During the 2000s, the prevalence of circumcision in men aged 14 to 59, obviously it wasn't happening while they were at this age, it's just the case. It does differ by race. It's 91% of non-Hispanic white men, 76% of black guys, 44% of Hispanic guys, and that's according to the Mayo Clinic. So it's around 60% of the population in like 2012.
Gotcha.
Did I pull up the most recent statistics? I believe I did. No, I didn't. I apologize, but it's not that important. It does, again, no strong opinions one way or the other. It's interesting. I think it's really interesting because Charlotte says, "Oh, he's such a waspy guy." Now, circumcision is very common, as we've just pointed out statistically. Right. It's cultural. A lot of people choose it for their children for health reasons. Right. There's really no evidence that it does anything one way or the other.
Right. Yeah.
To improve. This New York Times article said some people do it just because it is so common, and so then your son will not feel left out if he goes into a, locker room and everybody's cut and he isn't. I get, boys are weird. Who knows? I guess that is something to make fun of. But it's also traditionally a Jewish ceremony done within 8 days of the baby boy's birth, according to Wikipedia, and I guess also traditional Jewish law, not just Wikipedia. And all of this time, I also could not help but think of frickin' Robin Hood Men in Tights, where they meet Rabbi Tuckman, played by Mel Brooks, and he's like, I'm a rabbi and immoral. What's immoral? Circumcisions, it's the best. Ladies love it. I'll take two. How do you do it? Well, I just take your thingy and I put it here and I snip the tip. And then they all go, oh, and they all change their mind.
Well, I do hear that it is better to do, if you are going to do it, it's better to do it to younger children, because the older you get, the more painful, I guess.
Oh yes, yeah.
Like if you do it like at an adult age, like if you do it like in your 20s or 30s or whatever, like the pain lasts a lot longer than it does.
Oh, I would imagine, yeah. And like you're 8 days old when you're a baby,
right?
You don't know what's happening,
right? Yeah, I mean, I'm sure it still hurts, but
sure, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't think you have like all of your nerve endings and stuff like that developed completely yet, to the point where like, it'll cost, because like, this guy, Charlotte's boyfriend in the episode said that he had to wait like a whole week before they could have sex again.
I think, he got like a boner and it like almost killed him. Oh, and fun fact, so it is less common in Europe to do circumcision,
right?
On I'm assuming non-traditionally, if you're not a practicing person of the Jewish faith, it is even less common to do.
It's true.
And just fun facts. It's exciting. History is fun.
That was fun, but you didn't answer my question. How do you feel about it?
No, I said I didn't have strong opinions about one way or the other.
Have you experienced one without?
I don't think I have, no.
That's what I wonder.
Yeah.
That's the real question I'm asking. Have you seen one? I mean, obviously, you've probably seen one like in books and stuff like that.
You can Google it. No.
Have you?
I'm just Googling penises all day.
Okay, because here's the thing. I think most women probably I think most women would be thrown off by it, because it is more common for a man to be circumcised, and like depending on how many men they may have been with, like they probably seem more circumcised than uncircumcised. I think, but I've also heard women say that like it feels better.
That's what I think Samantha well, that's actually more Charlotte's implying. Samantha was like, give me that dick, I don't give a shit how it comes, She didn't really care.
That's always her mentality, though.
Yeah.
that's just Samantha in general. That's just like Samantha. How she feels about in general.
Yeah, she did not care how what kind of package it came in, so to speak. Right. Yeah, I think that's one of the common reasons is like, oh, if I guess you're not necessarily choosing for your son to be like a sex master in his old age, but like, yes, supposedly it.
Oh man.
I almost said fiend, but that wasn't the right word.
Yeah, don't say fiend. Yeah. Sex master is already a little bit creepy, but like, weird. but I'll take. Don't take. Fiend is even worse. Fiend makes it sound like he's out here doing something that he ain't supposed to. At least master implies that like it's consensual.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So Charlotte, dating a guy, he's uncircumcised. She's thrown off. She talks to the ladies about it. She's like, kind of,
she's very like
not really feeling it. She ain't really into it.
It's because it doesn't fit her traditional box.
That's what I was saying. Like,
pun intended.
Really, right.
Her box. Vagina.
Her traditional box. That's
funny. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. That seems like because it almost was like a. It was almost like a deal breaker for her.
Yeah, which is so weird. Like, what a weird deal breaker.
Yeah.
It doesn't really, as my cursory Google research has shown, it doesn't really impact, there's a lot of medical myths around it that like it does anything other, I did not dive into the depths of the religious significance of doing it. That's a whole other like can of worms I don't really feel like getting into.
Well, to me, I was surprised that she was like so weirded out by it.
Yeah.
Like, we talked. They talked about it in previous episodes. Like, she doesn't do oral, so like, why do you care?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's. I feel like there have been weirder dudes, weirder dudes.
I know he wasn't asking for nothing weird. Like he just was like all the other dudes were like, want to do anal sex or like,
want a 3-way? Like, do you want to like fuck at this wedding in the bridal suite? Right, and let my dad grab your ass? Like on and on and on.
Yeah.
And, like he's like, other than being a food critic with a dumb rating system, 5 lists, get the fuck out of here.
Right.
Other than that, he's like seems pretty normal and all right until he does get the circumcision, and then he's like, I can show you the world. I can show you my penis.
My thing was like, that was okay. Now that was another question I wanted to ask, because from what I gather, they had only been dating a few short months.
Yeah.
Is that a long enough period to get I would say somewhat
a life-altering surgery?
Like I would say major surgery, but it's kind of major.
It's not major in the sense of like organs per se, but it is life-altering.
Yeah,
your life is different now.
Yeah,
because you've had this surgery.
Yeah, and he did it. He said he didn't do it for her, but like. I feel like he did because how she freaked out about it.
A little, but the second he did have the surgery and had sex with her, then he was like, well, peace out. I gotta take this puppy on the town.
Here's the thing. As savage and as fucked up as that was, I low-key laughed at that funny. Because I was like, low-key, that was kind of Charlotte's karma. You know what I mean? Because she was like this close to breaking up with him because he had a weird penis. I guess in her mind.
Yeah.
And the second he got it done, he was like, you know what? Why should I just stay here? Like I have a whole new dick. I gotta give it to
fortune tellers were right.
Which means like she wasn't, to me, it's like, yeah, she was weirded out about the penis thing, but it also lets me know that like I don't think that she was actually sure about this guy because clearly, like something was, you know what I mean? Like he wasn't showing all sides of himself. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
At the end of the episode, after they got it on, he was like, "All right, this is who I really am."
He must have like had in his head like, I've, maybe he truly did feel insecure, or clearly truly felt somewhat of insecure about it, and maybe said to himself, all right, the next girl I date, if she says it's weird, I'm fucking doing this. I can't take it anymore.
It might have been,
And Charlotte was just the straw that broke the camel's back on that one.
That might be it. That's a good point, because I mean, I think he partly did it for her, but I also think that there was always something that he always felt some subconscious about. So
she's just the catalyst that he was like, this is my breaking point. Fuck it. Yeah, fine.
That's fair. But yeah. So that's what I don't know. It's just weird because watching her is like, I feel like these are one of those characters where, like, I think people watch this show and miss the point, because I don't think she's supposed to be somebody you look up to, but I think some people watch the show and kind of look up to her as far as like how frequently she dates and things of that nature. Like, they think they're supposed to be out there kind of.
Yeah, I think they. Well, I think it's they look up. People look up to all of them for how frequently they dated.
Yeah.
Especially in like the first season and stuff like that. It's what do you call it? And like I said, it's any show about like young or youngish single people. The frequency which they date is not actually like reflected in real life, I feel like.
Right.
For how often people truly date in real life,
No, I totally agree. And it's it's weird though, because I feel bad for people watching the show, because again, we talked about this in previous episodes, like they just make it seem like being single is you're just the worst person on the planet.
You are a cursed creature.
You're gonna die a very horrible, painful death if you're not with somebody.
Yeah.
Which is not
it's just not the case. It's just not true.
So okay, I'm with that. So Charlotte got her little bit of justice in there. Should we talk about Miranda?
Yeah. So she's still with Steve, bartender Steve.
Yes. Which I'm happy about, because I actually like this guy a lot.
Yeah.
I think he's like a super sweet, super cool guy. He's what he to me, it seems like he's the guy that she should be dating, but she seems to be wanting to run away.
Oh yeah. And it's so funny because like the stuff she's doing to him, our poor boy Skipper would like bend over backwards. Steve pushes back.
Yeah.
And gets her to adjust a little, which is it's interesting to see.
Yeah. And that's the thing too, because I was like, with her, it seems like she has, just like Charlotte. I mean, I guess they all kind of have that. I guess we all do too, which is why it's like why we shouldn't look up to characters like this, because like there's a flaw in them. Because like Miranda seems to have this entire vision of what kind of guy she's supposed to be with. Basically, like a version of her, but with a penis.
Yeah.
And like that don't work. You can't have two people alpha in each other all day. Like all you're gonna do is just clash heads.
Yeah.
And there'll be passion there, but like, will that passion last you the years, or will you end up hating each other and get divorced? Which is probably more than likely what will happen. You know what I mean? And that's why I like Steve for her, because like he's alpha enough to fight back, like you were saying, like when she tries to push him out or like kind of control things, but he's also giving enough to understand where she's coming from, like when she has issues or has hangups about something. He gives her space to kind of like figure it out.
Yeah.
And
because like she's so rigid in her schedule. Don't get me wrong, it's not, she's a mega lawyer or whatever who's making enough to buy an apartment in Manhattan and has like a strict-ish schedule that she does have to keep to a degree, but you can always, not always, but you can generally soften it a little bit, and she doesn't want to, but to enjoy his time in his company, she kind of has to, because he doesn't get off till work till what, like 2, 3 in the morning, 4 in the morning sometimes, probably. And she's super tired. And then I'm always surprised he's up at 7 to have morning sex. But hey, I mean, when you want it, right?
I mean, but that's the thing too. Like she's talking about like, because if he's getting in at like 2 a.m., 2 and maybe 3, getting into her place, and then he wakes up at 7. That's like only 4 hours of sleep. As a bartender, I feel like you would be sleeping a lot longer than that. So like,
well, when she goes to work, you just go back to bed.
Yeah, I guess
for a few hours.
But so now, do you think that ultimately that schedule would be bad? Because I feel like that would be hard. Like, I got to work in the morning, you work at night, and then you get home late, when I'm like,
I think it's a bit untenable.
Yeah.
Because it's sort of it's this movie Ladyhawk. Have you ever heard of it? It's got Michelle Pfeiffer, really young Matthew Broderick, and Rutger Hauer in it.
No, I've never seen it, but I think
so. It's like a medieval fantasy movie.
Okay.
And Michelle Pfeiffer and Rutger Hauer are cursed by like somebody. So during the daytime, she is a hawk and he's like a person. And then at night, he's a wolf and she's a lady. So they can never be together. That's an untenable schedule.
It's first of all, that movie sounds insane. It sounds like cocaine
so good. No, it's really
is it an 80s movie?
Yes.
Yes, that's cocaine. That's a cocaine. That is a cocaine fucking premise if I've ever heard.
It's very romantic.
It sounds interesting. I will go watch it.
Like I said, it's a fantasy. It's a fantasy movie.
I'll go watch it. But I'm just, it's just that's an interesting title.
Yeah, so yeah, like they're lady hawk in this relationship because she has to be up all day during the day, and he would in theory have to sleep most of the day, and then at night it's the other way around. I think I think long term it's hard. They could definitely do that schedule for a while, but I think there would be a breaking point. Apparently, it just came incredibly early into the process for Miranda.
Right.
Like much sooner than you would think.
That's a hard thing too, because that's what I was thinking too. Because I was like, what, maybe Miranda's being a little too harsh about, being like she's being a little too uptight. But it's also, it's the beginning of the relationship.
Mm-hmm.
So this is like the moment where like, this is a time period, and is when you want to spend the most time together. You want to see each other, and it's like it's very important to kind of set that foundation. And it's kind of hard to build a foundation when your schedule are just so different. I mean, and it seems like for the most part, from what it seemed like, he doesn't even have a night off.
Yeah,
it's just about like 7 days a week. Just about, it seemed like.
And with her high powered lawyer stuff. I know she said like she has Saturday as the one day off. That's the one day she can like run errands. And even then, I'm sure like, law stuff comes up on weekends. You get a big case and you can't, you're working,
That's true. That's what I'm saying. Because weekends, like, yes, technically she could be off, but then again, you said like you said, like she could be working on a big case that could take her to work through the weekends, and him coming home at 2 a.m. She probably ain't too happy about that either. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
She just been sitting there, going through fucking contracts and whatever the case may be, all kinds of papers and shit. So yeah, I just, it's as much as I like this character and like this guy for her, personality wise, I don't think that, I just don't think that they're going to work out because of that schedule. Because like, here's the thing, at the end of the day, like, yes, in the episode, she kind of gives in and tries to embrace his lifestyle and tries to make it work. But like, ultimately,
I will say one thing.
Yeah.
Remember, there are no real consequences to most things on this show.
No, that's what I'm saying.
But so keep that in mind for future episodes. As in,
I got you.
This is a one-time issue.
I don't feel like it's going to work out between them, because here's the thing too, and mostly because here's the thing. At the end of the day, yes, Miranda did compromise with them, but this is still Miranda. She only compromises about that much, and then if it doesn't work out for her for like a day, she's like, I'm done.
Yeah.
Going back to like rigidity, like this is my schedule. I need this. This ain't gonna work. Sorry.
I love that he was like, "Hey, I want to cuddle," and she's like, "You have 30 minutes max." But then she did give in, and they cuddled all day, and that was very sweet. Like, oh,
Are you that person? Are you like after intimacy, you're just like, all right, we're done here. Appreciate it.
No, I want to cuddle. Hell yeah.
Okay. Because I found that weird. Because I was like, I don't know. That's to me that.
I mean, Miranda was very wham bam, thank you, ma'am.
Yeah. Well, that's my thing too. Is like, if we're dating, I feel like 5 to 10 good minutes of cuddling is like at least sufficient. Maybe, if you want to do longer, I'm cool. But I feel like after an intimate situation, I feel like there should be at least 10 to 15 minutes of cuddling before like somebody gets up. You know what I mean? Because like it's just weird if you're just like, all right. You know what I mean? Especially as a guy. Yeah. Especially if you do that as a guy. You know what I mean? Like as a woman, maybe.
We've talked about this before. I forget which episode it was, but this was an issue in another episode of somebody wanting to cuddle more, or like.
Oh yeah.
Oh, it was the shower guy. It was Miranda's shower guy.
Yeah.
They would have sex.
Miranda did. Yeah.
And then he would.
Oh yeah, because he hopped up and
he would like literally come and then pull out and go take a shower. And she was like, whoa, okay, yeah.
Which is crazy. That's what I said. She's like low-key a hypocrite because like she don't want to cuddle with him, but then the guy who like immediately got out of a shower, she was like, what the fuck's your problem?
Yeah.
Like, what's your problem? Now let me ask you, is that a red flag for you? If somebody like if after sex somebody didn't want to cuddle for like 5 or 10 minutes, would that be a red flag?
For me, I think, yeah, because it's such an intimate thing that I consider the cuddling part of that process.
Right.
And so if someone was like, well, bam, and then was like, well, bye, or that wouldn't sit right with me. Some people don't care. I don't know, but for me, yeah, that's so.
Yeah, no, I'm not. I mean, here's the thing. If it's hot, don't touch me. Like,
sorry. Are you talking about external temperatures?
Yeah.
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Like if I worked up a sweat during our session,
get the hell away from me.
On for 5 minutes. Let me cool off. Then we'll cuddle. But like, don't immediately cuddle with me while sweat is still coming down my brow. Like I'm gonna push you off.
Yeah. That's true.
It's not an intimacy
thing. That's
a
good point.
Nigga, I'm hot.
I fucking hate being hot.
Yeah, it's the worst. It's so especially like in bed. Like it feels like I don't know, being like sweaty in bed just feels like extra nasty. It's so like gross. You're like extra slick, and the sheets don't like they like stick to you a little bit and you're like it reminds me of being when I was in the Marines. We used to have like. So for maximum warmth, it's the less layers you have. That's how the sleeping bags we had work. So like the more naked you were, the quicker you'd be warm.
Oh, okay, yeah. Mm-hmm.
But like in the morning when the sun comes up over the mountains, it's hot as fuck. And then you wake up and you're just like in this wet burrito.
No, not a wet burrito.
It's a wet burrito. Dude, everything you like it's like if it wasn't for the fact that you were naked, you would probably shoot out of that fucking sleep
slide right out of the burrito. It's like a slip and slide.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. So no, I totally get that if it's a hot situation. But this is that's why I wrote down. It's like I think Miranda might have intimacy issues because like one hand she's like, hey, stay in bed with me. Don't get up immediately, shower, and make me feel like shit. But then it's like she don't want to cuddle with this dude. But it seems like I feel like as much as they talk about like being in relationships and like wanting to get married and stuff like that, I think she's running away from it a little bit.
Oh, absolutely.
It scares her a little bit, honestly.
Yeah.
Because she's a creature of habit, and I feel like her being in a relationship, for as much as she says she wants it, it would change a lot of her habits, and I don't think she's really I don't think she's ready for that yet as much as she thinks that she is. I think she's more doing it because of the company she keeps, like the friends that are around her. I think that she kind of doesn't want to be left out.
Yeah.
So she's kind of doing the same thing and hoping to find somebody.
And I can feel that because like I like my space, my time, my habits and things like that, and bringing another person in would impact those, hopefully not negatively. Hopefully it's the right person that's like, oh good, you also like sleeping in or staying up late and watching movie, whatever. Right. But so that can be a little like intimidating as a thing, but like you also, the other part of you really wants the companionship and love, hopefully, again, with that kind of scenario. So it's hard. It's like those two halves of your brain that are like no, you're fine on your own, you're doing all your shit, it's fine, you're enjoying your time alone. And then the other part of you is like, it'd be cool if another person was here though, right? That you liked a lot.
But you know what, though? But I feel you there too, because it is nice to have that. But also, like, I am one of those other creatures of habit as well, and like I want people over, but like I need you to do it the way I. That's how bad. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, and I don't mean like sex shit. I'm talking about like
just like even
things away in a certain way. You know what I mean? Like, I need that, and it's like we have to like figure out a way to like kind of compromise and understand that like we're we're not gonna we can't date ourselves. But that's kind of I guess the issue with like being single for periods of time, because like, you know, every time you date somebody new, it's a completely new adjustable thing, and like, you know, some people aren't really that open to like that kind of compromise, and I don't think Miranda's there yet. I think she wants to be there, but she's not there yet. Yeah. But yeah, and I feel like for this guy too, I think he's a little too soft for her.
Yes, and that will be an ongoing issue, I think.
Yeah, I feel like he might be a little too soft. Like, he pushes back, but he still might be a little too soft, because I mean, just with that schedule and everything and how rigid, you know, Miranda is, I just don't think. Yeah, don't think it's gonna work out.
Interesting.
So I think the bartender Steve is gonna be out within the next 2 episodes. That's my prediction.
Okay. I say nothing.
You say, I know you know, and I'm glad that you're not slurring with for me. But I just know that I'm right, because I could just tell how Miranda is, like, because that's usually how she is with a guy. Like, if it lasts longer than 2 episodes, it's like she dates him, it's weird, or like she does something that she doesn't like, or whatever, or has like a hobby that she doesn't like. She tries to do the Samantha thing and work it out and compromise, but then the next episode she's like, actually, no, I don't have to do this. And then she's gonna be like sad again, or like be like, you know, like mad, cynical about fucking romance for like 2 or 3 more episodes, and she'll be dating somebody again. And you know, I feel like just there's a pattern here, just like with Charlotte. You know what I mean? Like, poor Steve, he's gone.
There's a lot of reasons to say poor Steve.
Not in this episode though. He's doing all
right. And he was so sweet with the little phone call, and like, hey, look at the blue moon. Although I gotta say, I don't think blue moons are as rare as he was saying. They seem to happen.
Yeah, maybe in New York, maybe it's really rare.
No, it's the same moon.
Well, no, I mean, like, you know, you can't
be able to see it. Maybe
it's not as big, with like the smog, or like, you know, the skyscrapers. You know what I mean? So maybe it was just like he caught that right moment.
Yeah. Also, like, I guess let's see. Blue moon's like 2 full moons in 1 month, basically.
Yeah, but I don't know. I could be wrong. I don't know anything about moon.
I swear it's happening more and more. Maybe that's because we're all gonna die. I don't know.
It could be that. You know, but okay, low key though. Okay,
we're all gonna die. I'm so sorry.
No. That's fine.
So
that's
dark.
not. What no, but low key though, like, I ain't gonna lie. I would be a little bit irritated. Like, she saw it as cute. I would not think that was cute. Don't fucking call me at 3 a.m. and talk about look up in the sky and so I can see a moon. Bitch, take a picture and send it to me later. Like,
they didn't have camera phones, Chris.
You on my walk home.
No, that'd fucking work on me. That'd work on me. I'd be like, the moon is magical and beautiful. Yes. Well, and I mean, she's also kind of up, and I'm also.
Oh yeah, she was awake. That's right.
Yeah.
She was already up thinking about him. So
yeah,
I think that's really what it was. It wasn't the gesture. It was the fact that well, I mean, yes, in the
phone call, not the moon.
About him, and he called.
Yeah.
I think that was really what she took in. It's not even the moon shit was just, I guess, icing on the cake. But really, it's the idea that she was thinking about him and he called. Because imagine that, like, I have never had that experience where, like, I'm thinking about somebody that I miss and then they call me. Like, that has to feel pretty good to, like, feel like, you know, you kind of maybe will them with your thoughts into
it's like psychically pushing them.
Yeah. You know what I mean? I've never had that experience. So I think that part is the romantic part. But don't call me for no fucking moon. Like, if a random friend called me, was like, oh bro, look at the moon. I'd be like, I'm going to kill you when I see you next time.
Yeah, like, enjoy that moon, because it's the last moon you'll ever see.
Before I blind you.
Before I murder you.
Yeah. That's facts. Yeah. But that's I did like that gesture because like I wouldn't, I mean, thinking about like old exes and stuff like that, the times where I was thinking about them a lot, I can't imagine like if they would have called. But also I don't know what I would like how I would respond to that. Truly, because like it would be such a, I guess, a new experience for me that I'd be like, I don't like, were they drunk? You know what I mean? Or were like, you know what I mean? Because I've had drunk exes call me. That's
sure. That's nothing special.
That's nothing special. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like that ain't nothing. But yeah, it's weird. Anyway, moving on. Started getting too personal. Let's move on before I cry.
So on to Carrie and Big, the main storyline.
Okay.
So
first off,
I
want to talk about this. Samantha dropped some wisdom in this episode.
That's why she's the best one. This revival is gonna blow. I don't care what happens in it.
Yeah, she fucking she dropped some knowledge in this episode at the very beginning, talking to Carrie, and Carrie didn't even hear it. She didn't even hear it.
Nope.
Like she dropped some gems. She's like, first of all, the one I really loved, no man is perfect. That's like the most realistic, best advice you can give anybody who's out there like trying to find love. It's like, stop trying to form the perfect man in your body and then expect that, or not in your body, and then expect that person to exist. It can't happen. It's just like when we read books and then they turn the book into a movie. Like a part of us always hates it just a little bit, even if the movie's good. It hates it a little bit because we had an image of what that character looked like in our brain from how it was described from the pages. And when you translate it to film, it's never gonna be what we thought.
Yeah,
it's already losing there. So it's the same thing when you're trying to like picture like your perfect soulmate. Like they don't exist. Not like that in a sense. Like there's no such thing as perfection. There are people that like you probably can get along with better than others. Obviously, just the same thing with like friendships and acquaintances. But the idea that you're gonna find like this perfect man who basically like caters to all your needs and your wants and your desires is a little bit far-fetched, because you're like taking out the fact that like this person is a different person, meaning like they grew up differently than you, they had different parents, they grew up in a different part of town, they maybe even grew up in a motherfucking different country. So it's that was I did that little gem when she dropped that. I was like, Samantha be knowing, bro.
And also just the fact that like, so Carrie in the very beginning of the episode is annoyed that Big keeps checking out other chicks, other women.
Yes.
And as she's talking with Samantha's like, if that's your biggest problem right now in the relationship, like shut up. Everything's fine. Like you're being ridiculous.
I mean, Now, let me ask you, is that a red flag for you? Is that like guys looking at another woman?
I don't think so. I mean, I think Carrie's probably hypersensitive to it because of their kind of rocky beginning and their first go around of the relationship where she didn't know how they stood, and she's still like totally hung up on like not feeling, and that's like a big part of this is she doesn't feel like she's part of his life still at this point, even though like Big I think is more or less okay in this episode because he's just you can't change, like, and as they say, you can't change a person. I'm jumping ahead slightly, but like, Samantha tells her you can't change. You know who he is, and at this point, and I think Carrie has to accept that he chose her. Like, people like everybody looks at attractive people. I think that's not the end of the world. It's whether or not you like pursue them actively, then obviously that's the problem. But just being like, that's an attractive woman, Carrie, and I think Carrie should be allowed to be like, that's an attractive guy. Like that's, I think, normal. it's I guess maybe the frequency with which he did it, where his like head was like full on like turning on a swivel, might have been a little overkill.
Yeah, that's a little too much, bro. Like
he's but it's really just that he's not subtle about it. Like that's the dumb part.
Yeah. Don't make it so obvious, my guy. And there was a couple moments where he looked like when they were at the restaurant and the girl walked by, he looked and then like went right back to her.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Yeah.
But like, when they were on the street and he was like like full head.
Yeah,
turn,
like
come on, bro. Like
snap your neck if you keep doing that.
People can be cool, but like nobody's that cool, bro. Like that is
like
your whole body.
for such a like smooth guy as he is, like those were really kind of dorky. Like, whoa, is that a hot girl walking by? Like,
but you know what? But that's why I also think that she should forgive him, because like he comes off as this smooth guy, like initially, but like as we've gotten to know him, he's kind of a nerdy guy. He's kind of he's kind of a geek. He's kind of a geek. That's just like it's you can tell that I feel like with him, he wasn't always like the handsome, suave guy. Like that's something that he built up over time. You can still, like when he was a kid, he was probably like the scrawny kid. Maybe he got picked on. Maybe he didn't like, get all the girls and stuff like that. And as he got older and richer, that's when he started getting attention from women, and like he's still kind of figuring it all out. I mean, yes, he got married in that time and all that other stuff, but like again, he's still a big nerd, I think, at heart. I don't think he's not like Mr. Cool fucking Will Smith walking down New York, you know what I mean?
There's definitely like a weird dorky element kind of that pops out every now and then. And so Carrie's complaint to Samantha, and Samantha's like, you can't change a person, least of all a man. I generally agree, like you really can't change people, but the fucked up part isn't Carrie's like, but you can manipulate them. I'm like, Carrie, that's terrible.
Oh, she's fucking toxic.
I was like, that's psycho.
Straight up toxic. Yeah. Well, that's the weird thing, is because like it was like, there was another gem that she dropped. She's like, once you try to change a man, you're doomed. And I think that is so like accurate. That's like right on the target, because like here's the thing, and not even just men. I think relationships in general, like we change and adjust a little bit. Like the longer we're in a relationship, you kind of adjust to things. We figure each other out and things of that nature, and we kind of change subtle things, like little things and stuff like that. Like because we do want to appreciate a person, we are adjusting to people. Just like because like living with somebody, you do have to adjust and compromise here and there, and those are good changes. But when you actively try to like change somebody to your liking specifically, even if I think subconsciously they start to resist you. There's resentment, even if they don't know that they're doing it. There's resentment, and I think with her, the harder, because like, and I don't understand with her how she hasn't learned that yet. Like the harder she presses Big, he always pulls back even further. Yeah,
she is like not caught on once.
Yeah, like you know what I mean. And here's the thing too, because like low key, right? We talk about further in the episode, like he was very accommodating. Like if we talk, if you go back to season 1 when they were dating, he don't like her eating oranges in the bed. He'd have kicked her out of his fucking apartment.
Yeah.
Season 1, when she was eating oranges in the bed, he lets her eat oranges in the bed, and he hates it. So he's already changing for you, and you don't like. She's not paying attention to like the important shit that he's doing. You know what I mean? Like he's always looking for like the surface level, like things I can show off to my friend shit, and it's like, you know what I mean? Because he's like, like that's, to me, that's a big thing. Like, because my bed is sacred. I don't like people eating in my bed.
Oh, absolutely not.
You eat in my bed, that means I fucking like you, bro. Like, I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck if you are drinking a smoothie. I don't want any kind of food products in my bed.
No, in my old apartment, I kind of had to eat on my bed out of necessity. Because I had a small studio, but like now, absolutely not. Now that I have like that bed and a one bed, like you come near that with like a cracker, you get the fuck out.
That's what I'm saying. I don't care if you're drinking a smoothie with a lid on it.
Yeah.
My bed, son. I don't want nothing. So if I let you eat in the bed, that's for sure. And like, That's what I mean. But like, she doesn't see that stuff, but she sees that like he hasn't given her a key yet. She has to wait outside to come get him down. She's like, I feel like a hooker. I was like, what?
Yeah,
you have to wait in the lobby.
Yeah, like
in New York, that's everybody's apartment. Just about if you go to some place where like somebody makes good money and they have a fucking penthouse apartment, like you'd be waiting in the lobby. Period.
Yeah. Also, maybe don't pace and smoke like a sex worker. I don't want to. I feel a little bad.
No. But I mean, you're not wrong though. But you're not wrong.
I don't want to call it.
Yeah, no.
Sex workers are people deserve respect.
No, I know what you're saying though. I mean, you're not wrong. Because like, you kind of like low key her like jitteriness is kind of what makes her look like.
Like I was gonna say, it's less that she's acting like a sex worker. It's that she's like on edge and pacing and being weird in a lobby.
Yeah.
So people are gonna think you're up to something.
Right.
Weird. Like
you are a sex worker or you're a crazy ex. You know what I'm saying? You know, and of course, dude. I mean, think about that in an apartment like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, one, you'd be waiting in the lobby anyway because they just don't allow people to go up.
Yeah.
And secondly, like, again, if a bunch of rich guys live in that apartment building, they've probably seen crazy shit like that before. You walking around pacing, smoking, it's like, oh, she's here to fuck some shit up, make her wait in the lobby. You know what I mean? Like, why would I let you up? I don't know who you are. Because even now, like, sometimes people, because my apartment building, we don't have a lobby, but we do have like a gate code to get in. And there's been times people call my shit and they're like, hey, I'm here to see so-and-so. Can you just let me in? They're not answering. I'm like, nope. Because I don't know who you are.
Yeah.
You could be coming here to fuck shit up or like try to crash it. You know, I don't know. I mean, I'm not. Yeah. It's sad that I have to assume that, but I also don't want to let in the guy that like murders 6 people.
Yes. The irony is I have walked into buildings behind people because I'm very unassuming, but they don't know. What if I'm crazy? They don't know.
Right. Exactly.
Just because I have a baby face doesn't mean I can't stab someone.
Exactly.
It's the key thing is annoying, but like, again, she knows at this point that he is this standoffish and that it's just not gonna like shit's just not gonna happen on her timeline. She even says in the little like the little writing the article bit, she says something about, where did it go? Lowering her expectations, and I think she needs to.
I think so too.
Oh, here we go. Yeah, it was after the date at the restaurant, which side note on that, where he lights up the cigar and the waitress says, oh, you really can't do that in here. And he was like, well, there's only 5 other people. Let me go ask them. I was like, I fucking hate you. And if you had said, and if he had said, do you care if I smoke the cigar? I would have fucking absolutely said, yeah.
Yeah.
They're gross.
But see, I think that was, I mean, I kind of like that he did that because
it's a cool rich guy move, and I like, he buys everybody drinks. Kind of
what I liked about it. That was like a very confident, very like, all right, let's just see what happens. Let's just, let's just, because it was low key, it was rude. It was rude, but it was also kind of charming at the same time because he wasn't a dick about it. He wasn't like,
no, but he was pretty arrogant though about it.
He was arrogant,
and that turns me off.
People and asked them. He's like, hey, is it okay? Because even when he went to ask the ladies, he did it in a charming way. He wasn't like, hey, is it cool?
Right. He wasn't like, hey, you dumb broads.
Yeah, he was like, hey, it's my last night on earth. I just want to enjoy a cigar. Like that was kind of, it was charming. It wasn't complete. Yeah. It was still a dick move to keep smoking in the restaurant. That part is for sure. But like, he wasn't a complete asshole about it. He did go about it in like a cutesy wootsy way. And that's kind of what I liked about what he did. But I also understand where you're coming from though. Like, it still was a rich guy dick move.
But so after that date, she's writing the article and she's like pondering change. And she asks herself, should you change your expectations? And I'm like, I wrote down, yes, you have these expectations that he's not meeting. They're not, your expectations are not necessarily unreasonable, but they are, like I said, not going to happen on your timeline. So you need to kind of scale them back or reassess them and kind of see where you truly are. Because she also says, like, if she asks, like, should I change to get him to notice her? And it's like, he already notices you. Because he is dating you.
Yeah.
And actively
this time, not just
like, and true, like you said, truly dating her. and like engaged with her in many ways.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't know what else she wants him to notice other than she does want to change things about him. And she puts out the question, can you change a man? And that brings us to Man on the Streets. They came back. Woohoo!
Oh, yes.
They're super brief this time, though, because you have the one woman who is like, he wasn't paying attention. Husband wasn't paying attention to me, and I cheated on him, and now that's all he does is like watch my every move. That's not okay. I liked the guy who said every girl he dated wanted to change something different, so he just changed his girlfriends. Which, unless he's a total asshole, that makes sense.
That guy probably is, but he's on the right track.
He did seem like an asshole. He seemed like a Wall Streety, bankery dick kind of guy, but at the same time, he's not 100% wrong.
No, not at all.
You know, broken clock and all that twice a day.
Yeah.
And then I like the last lady, the little old lady with the husband spinning plates, and she just was no.
That was the best. That was the best. Because like that was probably like the realest one. It's like because like you could tell she hates the fact that he does that, like spins plates, but she's like, fuck it. I've been with him for however many long. They look like they were an older couple, so she's just like, no, you can't change him. He's still spinning plates. He's been spinning plates since like date one, and he's still doing it.
Because Carrie brings up like, what are the like little things that start to become liabilities, and it's like, it's like you have to look back and be like, what is worth truly fighting about? And I'm so sorry, audio wise, there's landscaping happening in the background.
I don't hear nothing.
Oh, okay, good. Whoops, never mind. I'll leave it in case someone has super hearing. But anyway, like, what are liabilities that I guess sort of like what are true deal breakers? But if it's little things, like, is it worth fighting? It's worth being honest about and saying, hey, I don't like this. Is it worth fighting about or breaking up about? That's where you have to like assess, more critically. Like, is eating oranges in the bed a reason to break up? No, but it is worth saying, hey, I don't like when you do that. 100% worth saying it, because it's funny. I saw this and it's true. It's like, with regards to like someone's appearance, if it's not something they can fix in the next 10 seconds, like, don't tell them about it. And I feel like that kind of applies to this. Like, if it's not like an easily fixable or adjustable thing, like, it might not, I mean, maybe it's worth bringing up if it's like a deal breaker, but like, if it's a little thing, like if you don't like the way someone, I don't know, eats spaghetti, let's say, like I saw like people flip out if you like twirl it with a spoon versus not, who cares? Like, what the fuck does that matter? You have to consider what truly matters versus what just annoys you.
I don't think that she has, I mean, for lack of better words, matured enough in that fact to realize what's like important and what's not. Because like, like him, the whole oranges in the bed thing, like, it wasn't a deal breaker. Not like he wasn't like, I'm about to break up with her because she eats fucking gross oranges in the bed. Which, side note,
disgusting.
Low-key do stink. Like, they are delicious, but like when you peel them and everything, like,
it's not
they do
like
kind of stink. They do kind of stink. I'm not mad at him. At first I was like, who doesn't like oranges? But then I thought about like, the process too, like when you peel an orange and like the little skins, pieces can get all in the bed. So I feel where he's coming from.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I feel him. I was like, because also too, like, I'm not a fan of anybody eating in bed and then like eating an orange is like, it's all juicy and it's it's I feel that, because especially I feel like too, because like, he don't seem like a guy that's a slouch in the bed department as far as like sheet count, thread.
That's what he says. He's like, I like my bed and I like my sheets. He's like honest about it, and I don't blame him. If I had, fuck you money, I'd like totally get like killer, super sheets.
Egyptian cotton, motherfucker. Like, let's go. Oh, let me ask you this though. I do have, because yes, we are harping on Carrie, but I do have one thing that I think that she wasn't entirely crazy on, is the fact that like he hadn't slept at their apartment yet, or her apartment yet. That's an issue. I'm sorry. That means that's I don't know what it says, but it says something.
Yeah, no, I agree. There is something about like only her coming onto his turf, but then it's a control thing, not
That's,
like a
I mean,
super
yeah,
crazy psycho way or anything like that, but
yeah,
it's a power imbalance,
yeah,
and that he holds more power in that sense that like he won't come to her place, and he won't give her a key to his, so she is kind of stuck in this like limbo when
yeah.
it comes to like I don't know how many months have passed since they've like formally gotten back together, but it's
Right.
a while. And I think if you're not gonna like, you know,
But I mean, because but here's the thing with that. Like, yes, they officially got back together, so we don't know how long it is. But I always was told that, like, if you break up and get back together, it's whatever time you spent before in the previous relationship plus the new time
oh,
now. Like, it doesn't start over. You
gotcha.
basically, they just like pick up.
Yeah.
Like, things should be changing, but it's the time should not feel a difference. So I
Well, then
feel
at
like,
this point, he absolutely should have given her a key to his
yeah,
place.
because like at this point, if you count the time they were together before and then the time now, they've been together for a year
Yeah.
or almost a year and a half ish. So
Yeah,
somewhere
I
between
think you're
a
right.
year and
Yeah.
a year and a half. So like that's enough time to be like, here, you
Yeah.
can have a key.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And yeah.
And if
And
you've been
like,
dating that long and that was the first time you came over to spend the night, I'm sorry. That's weird to me.
yeah, and I think yeah, it's I think also like it's not it's I think rightfully in her mind it's not she's shut out of his apartment quite literally, you know.
Yeah.
And it's still keeping her at a distance that he won't come to where she is cuz like
Yeah.
yeah, go to someone's apartment that you want to, date
Yeah.
or be with is nice. You get to like kind of know more who they are even just by like stuff, you know.
And it's not like her apartment is trash or nothing
Yeah,
like that.
she's
I mean,
got a
compared
nice
to
little place.
his, it's not as great, but like
Yeah.
it's not trash. She ain't living in like a bungalow or
Yeah.
some shit like
Well,
that.
and like the whole he likes his sheets thing, it's kind of a bit selfish that it's like
Yeah,
always having to come to him.
yeah.
And that is a legit problem if you always have to go to the other person. They
No,
never
you know
come to
what? I
you.
had an ex that did that. Like, I mean, it
Hmm.
was. I mean, I will give her credit. It was a little bit more of a hassle for her to come to my place because for the
Hmm.
weekend because like she did have to pack like beauty supplies and like she had to bring her dog and stuff like that. But like you know, once a month wouldn't have killed you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I think she spent the night over my place like was like 1 week during the pandemic. And then before that it was like maybe she came over one time because she had been drinking. So she stayed
Yeah.
time. And then she came over like one more time to spend a weekend like before that. So right like a total of like 5 times she was
Hmm.
ever at my place and we dated for over a year.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, I probably should have, seen a red flag there, which I do now. And,
Yeah.
learn, we adjust. But like,
Lessons
yeah,
learned.
as far as much shit we've been giving Carrie about this whole episode, like, I did find that
Hmm.
very not okay.
Yeah.
And I can understand why, like, and that's the kind of shit too, where it's like, yeah, we get on Carrie, but also it's like those little things that he is doing that kind of does send her into like a spiral of neuroses.
Hmm.
Like,
Hmm.
you like he is adjusting and he is growing,
Yeah.
but like he still does some like the subtlest things to like kind of strike the match a
Yeah.
little bit, and I don't like that about him because like yeah. Now let
Yeah.
me ask you this
Hmm.
because we're still talking about them.
Yeah.
Is physical violence a red flag?
Yes. Oh my God. Now he did not mean to knock her out of the bed like that.
No,
That
he did not.
was not
No,
an intentional thing. But
no.
her fucking taking a swing
She took.
back.
She gave him a right hook. That was very much thought of.
Yeah.
That was
I I
premeditated.
think, like I think your natural reaction, when he is what to me is more of an open hand kind of shove, like, yeah, you dick, you shoved me out
Yeah,
of bed,
yeah.
not like a closed fist, fuck you and fucking put you in
She
the
blacked his eye.
face. Yeah,
She blacked his eye. First of
yeah,
all, kudos to her. She got that right hand going for
yeah.
her. Like, also, no, you don't hit yours.
No, no, no,
I
no,
don't care
no.
how pissed off you are at
Yeah,
somebody. I don't care like if he's looking at other women or whatever. Like, no, because if he'd have done that, he's in jail. She does it. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Like, I think, yeah, that to me, for all intents and purposes, no matter how much I like a person, I think if you punch me in the face, we're done. I don't give a
yeah,
fuck. Like
yeah. It's
how
pretty
long we've been
impressive. He
together.
he
Yeah, like
forgives.
I can adjust to you, and because like here's the thing, like he's been adjusting to her and trying to make her happy like that. But I'm sorry, the second you punch me in the face, that's it.
And I appreciate that they at least didn't play it as like a cute thing she did, because sometimes they do that with women hitting men where it's like a cute thing, and it's not. Like you don't hit anyone ever, ever in a relationship, in general, and in a relationship especially. You don't, you don't hit people. It's not cool. So I'm glad that they were like that. There were, unfortunately for Big, but there were consequences. Like he was mad at her and he left and went and slept on the couch. And he was so mad. She was like, start talking. He was like, just don't even talk to me right now.
But that was a maturity on his part, because he's like, right now talking bad. Don't talk to me.
And which I told, like
stay here and shut the fuck up. Like, because it could have been bad. Like the fact that she punched him and he was like still cool.
And then she comes to him like it.
She'd have been out in the street in her motherfucking underwear. Like, fuck that. Fuck that. You ain't gonna hit me in my face in my apartment. Fuck that. You out of your fucking mind.
Yeah.
I'm with you though. I'm glad that they did show consequences, because like they didn't talk for, I think she said like a week or something. And he didn't want to talk to her because like, I mean, that's not the consequences that, I don't know if it meets the crime, the consequence, but I am glad that, like you said, they didn't play it up cute, like, oh, she punched him in the face.
Like, that's so cute that she punched, this tiny woman punched a man. It's like, no, like, don't fucking punch people. It's bad.
Yeah, exactly.
And I love that she like I know they're mad at each other, so like, but then she comes with an ice pack like an hour later after she's punched him. I'm like, damage is done, girl. You needed to be icing that from the start. That's part of why he probably got the fucking black eye, because like
But here's the thing too. She didn't even give
it to him.
She didn't give it to him. Also, too, the way that she even like came to try to apologize, she didn't even do it. Like she did like a kid. She like let the ice pack drip on his face to wake him up, and then she's like, "Hey, I brought an ice pack for you."
She like implemented water torture to wake him up.
Yeah, Chinese water torture. That's what that is.
Then stood over him with the like thing he needs.
Right.
Doesn't also, give it to him.
You put it in a plastic bag and then you wrap it in a towel. Yeah. Come on, Carrie. You don't put just straight ice into a fucking
towel. What are you, a barbarian? Get out of here, idiot.
Nurse anybody back to health.
Yeah. But the only good thing to come out of it is that she finally she's like, all right, we gotta talk, because yes, punching you was a big problem on my end. And she admits like it's not his, none of it's weird that she admits this. Oh no, sorry, I misread my notes. It is good. She says this is not your fault. Not the punching, but just like her frustrations, because she admits that she's like she never formally complains to him about what she doesn't like, and she feels like she's back in his life, but nothing's changed. I think the change she's not seeing is that he has let her back in his life. I think more fully than ever before, but like we've discussed, she's just got too many blinders up with her expectations. And then I love that she's like, hey, I mean, I'm sure there's things you don't like about me. And he's like, oh, no, you don't. I'm not fucking falling for that shit. That was the best answer.
You know what? And that was how like you could tell like he's a little bit more mature and stuff like that from the previous time before. Because like he knew that was a setup, because he knew if he started rattling off things that he didn't like about her, that would kind of relieve some of her guilt. He was like, nah, you don't feel this guilt. You punched me in the face.
Yeah.
You have to deal with that emotion.
Now give me the fucking ice pack.
Yeah. He's like, no, fuck that. I'm not gonna he's like, I'm not gonna let you off that easy by me complaining about you. Nah. Yeah. No, that was And then so we get to the end and she does admit that she was wrong and that she should be more honest, and they start being more honest and
and then he of that nature. Stinks up her sheets with a cigar.
Yeah. I don't know, man. This relationship just seems really toxic. It just doesn't.
That's a lot of
on
people's
both
complaint
parts,
about
like
it.
him
Yeah.
him subconsciously, her a little bit more consciously than
Mm-hmm.
she maybe is realizing. And I just, yeah, I don't know, man, because he's winning me over, and I'm like, I kind of want him to move on.
It's so funny because a lot of people just don't like him because they think they kind of perpetually take Carrie's side. But,
Yeah,
as we're going more in depth, discussing things, she's in the wrong a lot.
yeah.
Like,
So far, right now, I mean, yeah, he is doing some things. Like I said, the whole him not spending the night
yeah,
thing, and like him like turning his entire body to look at another girl's ass, like,
yeah.
yeah, bruh. But
But
her punching
like,
in the face, I think eliminates all.
I was gonna say, but like, as far as like relationship sins go,
Yeah,
those are not like,
yeah, they're not crazy.
they're not the worst, and
No.
they are workable if you just talk to him. But she's still this, and many people still are, but this is still very like the like everything has to be indirect for whatever dumb
Yeah,
reason that we were taught at the time is like, oh, you can't ever tell, what now we know it's like, no, you don't have to be rude, but you can tell someone directly like, hey, I don't like X, Y, and Z,
yeah.
or I'd appreciate it if you could not do this or that. I'd
Well,
appreciate it if you didn't eat oranges in the bed. Okay, cool.
yeah.
I can do that.
For that's the thing too. I would say this, man. Honestly, for a television relationship, I think a lot more. I think if people watch this, like go back and rewatch it
Mm-hmm.
now, I think there's a lot to learn from their relationship about
Yeah.
like what not to do, what to do, and
Mm-hmm.
or what or what or better ways to do it, and like
Yeah.
communication and all this other stuff. Because like you know in watching this, as much as I'm like, harping on both of their situations, but I am learning from them because I do
Mm-hmm.
realize, like, in past relationships, like how I didn't communicate or how like
Mm-hmm.
I've communicated wrongly or like, things of that nature. Like, so it's good to learn.
Yeah.
It's good to learn. It's a
It's
good
funny.
toxic stuff, but look good to learn from.
Yeah, though I'm single, I see some of my issues in Miranda with the like
Mhm.
rigidity about certain
Yeah, yeah,
things. I definitely, yeah, it's that, and that is the appeal of the show overall, is that you can find things to identify with in the four kind of archetype
yeah,
lady characters that they
yeah.
are, problematic issues of the era aside. Oh, but
Sure.
before we forget, see, Samantha did not really get a plot this episode, but they do go to one of my favorite things. I've only been once, but it was really fun. They go to drag queen bingo.
Oh man, I bet that was awesome. I
Yeah,
bet it was awesome.
I went to one at Hamburger Mary's here in LA,
Nice.
and it was so fun. And I'm so mad I haven't gone back. And I'm sure it's still running, or hopefully it's up and running
I've
again
been to a few
soon.
drag shows and they're fucking amazing.
They're
And
so
I think
fun.
that's so fun. I think this like the crazy. Like I think yeah, anybody who's ever been to one, you're missing out because
Yeah.
it's super fun. But yeah, I'm glad we are talking about that because there was this is like you can tell what era we're still
Yep.
in
Yep.
because
Yep.
they try to imply that somehow what was it, the guy, the one of the
The
drag queens,
hockey player guy
yeah,
was.
that was a hockey player, and somehow I guess Samantha turned him gay. It's like
It's
you
weird.
can't
Well, he's got
turn.
the kids, and so I'm confused if like he's married and just does drag, which is not
I
impossible.
think they were implying that he was gay. I
But
think they
yeah,
were
I think you're
implying
right. I
that
think they
like
kind of implied
Samantha
that,
turned him gay, which is ugh.
which is no,
Yeah,
this is
I know.
wrong.
I was like, I wrote that down too. I was like, we're still in the '90s. I forgot.
Yep,
Yeah,
yep.
and even
You
the early
can,
2000s, people still was like, that was like a joke on TV. Was that like dating somebody so horrible that you end up going the other
yeah, like
direction? Like that's not how it works.
it's it's funny. There's and he's kind of admitted to being wrong, you know, looking back on it. Like, but I used to like a lot of Kevin Smith stuff.
Hmm.
And who doggies, the
Yeah,
gay panic and like
yeah,
gay, you know, ba- not exactly bashing, but certainly
yeah.
not, approving
Yeah.
of,
Not uplifting.
not
It's
uplifting,
not uplifting.
is really, 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 really like unnecessarily rampant.
Yeah.
And he not too long after kind of the peak of that stuff when he started doing like the Q&A things and almost turning into like a stand-up comedian, basically, he did, like, somebody confronted him at a Q&A, and he did finally kind of be like, I fucked up. But yeah, it's so weird to watch stuff from like the late 90s, early 2000s, when like gay panic stuff was still okay to be making fun of.
Yeah.
Because it's just so,
I cringed in that moment because like it was the implication. They didn't say it, but it was implied that like him dating her made him gay. Like, no, that's not how it works. Now I can understand if you dating somebody and then realizing through dating them like you are gay because like you're attracted to them, or like you guys are sex, or like the sex is weird and awkward and you don't feel right. That's different. But like no one turns gay from that, and I think that's where the miscommunication is like somebody figuring out that they're gay after dating somebody. They're like, oh, you turned them gay. It's like, no, you didn't turn them. I always knew that. I just didn't know for sure until I dated you.
It's just
maybe you were the straw, just like with Charlotte and the penis thing. Like, the guy was like, man, he maybe always had a problem with his penis and felt weird about it. And then she was like, ew, this kind of gross. And he was like, you know what? It's the last girl I want to say my penis is gross. I'm gonna go get it.
The idea of like, oh, and also it's cruel on both ends, because it's also the idea of like, oh, you're so terrible as a partner or as a woman or or a man if you like turn the woman lesbian.
Exactly.
No, that's not how it works.
That's really shitty to think about. If that were possible, like the idea that you were so awful that you made somebody be like, fuck this gender all together. That's fucked up.
And as we're learning, like, just with society and stuff, and as more people are becoming comfortable kind of embracing all parts of themselves, things are so much more fluid than like we used to want to admit. But like,
Absolutely. I think there are more people experimenting with their sexuality more frequently, male and female. Because it used to be a thing of like, always the joke was like, oh, like every girl fools around with other girls in college, but like now every guy is fooled around with a guy at least once. Like, I mean, at least try it once. And I feel like low key that doesn't even make you gay, because like if you just try it out just to see if you like it and then like you don't like it, guess what? You're not gay.
It's just you find it's always test drive things before you commit. It's if you're uncertain and then you try it and you go, oh yeah, no, that's not for me, no harm in that. As long as everybody's healthy and safe and on the up and up.
But see, that's that toxic masculinity when it comes to guys, right? Because it's like, if you fool around with a guy once, or like they say, like, suck one dick, you're a fag. It's like, nah, it's not the case.
Well, and then they're really,
it's like saying like, oh, if you taste one beer, you're a beer drinker. Like, no, I tasted it once, I didn't like it, and now I drink vodka. Like,
and the whole like toxic masculinity thing too is so insane for guys, even when it comes to like basic stuff. Like there are stories of people who are like, oh, this guy won't wash his butt because it's gay to touch a butt. And it's like, no, what is wrong with you?
Oh my god!
Wash your own ass, you fucking weirdo.
First of all, that's disgusting. First of all. Secondly, what the fuck?
Yeah,
it's weird, man. It's the weirdest.
Like even the way like body wash in the store is like, there's women's body wash, which is like all hyper feminized, and then there's men's body wash that's like charcoal brick by Dove, like
sandalwood.
Fellas, is it gay to wash your body? Not anymore with new Dove charcoal.
Barroom smell, like cigarettes and cigars, like that's the
hunting lodge.
I don't give a fuck. I'll listen. If it smells good to me, I'll buy a female shampoo, like, or not shampoo, but like a body wash, because I feel like it shampoo and stuff like that, maybe there's more things that are geared towards like our actual genetics and stuff like that, but like body wash,
shampoo is totally different for like, because it's all down to hair type and what you like need.
Exactly.
But body wash, everyone's gotta wash their butt, and then funnily enough, I think I actually don't really care for a lot of floral scents and feminine, what people would say are feminine scents. I actually really do. They don't work for me, and so I do prefer what cleaner and maybe in some cases even more manly sense. And it's like, I also don't care. I just need to wash my armpits. So, whatever.
I want something that's going to last. So I don't walk out the house smelling like hot garbage. That's
exactly.
Yeah.
Speaking of not smelling like hot garbage, how about these candles?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I don't have mine handy.
Oh, I have one handy. Hang on.
To hold up, unfortunately, but I do really like the smell of it.
Yes.
I have a lemon eucalyptus one, which I guess those are gender neutral. Just kidding. It doesn't matter. They smell amazing. Ooh, is that the big one?
Yes, the big one. It's the 25 ounce right here.
Yeah.
Yeah, 25 ounce. Yes. So we go to arloaustralia.com or arlo_Australia on Instagram. Get yourself some candles. Use our promo code Show Me Miss, all caps. And get you some soy candles, lead-free wicks, all organically sourced from Australia. So all the oils and the scents and everything are truly Australian smells and scents, and they're amazing.
We got a ringing endorsement from our friend Lauren from the Enough Wicker podcast.
Yes.
She emailed us and was like, this candle is really great. And that was unprompted. We did not ask her to buy a candle or do anything to get a candle. And she took her own volition, said, I really like this candle. So it's not just us hawking them. They're great.
Oh, also too, our friend from my other podcast, TMI, Veronica bought some candles and she loves them. She thinks they're amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I brought her a sample because we did the workout thing and she loved them and she bought her a set. So I still got to deliver to her, which I forgot. But yes, these candles are legit. I fucking love them. This one, I believe is called something biscuit. I don't know.
Is it the Anzac? I've seen
Anzac
the Anzac.
Yeah, that's the smell. It smells like Christmas cookies, and I have been eating sweets every time she makes that set of candles. I eat sweets crazy because the smell is so fucking
like good. What's happening? Oh, she's making the candle.
It's ridiculous. I have to curb my sweet tooth every time she makes this. But yes, go to arlo_Australia on Instagram or on Etsy and get yourself some candles and make sure you use our promo code Show Me Miss. That's all caps. Show Me Miss. And you can get 10% off on all your purchases. It's amazing.
And Chris, where can they find you on the internet?
Oh man, if you want to find me, you can find me at Mack Diddy Combs. That's MackDiddyCombs on Instagram and on Twitter. And if they want to find you, where they got you?
They can find me most easily on Twitter and Instagram. Twitter for sure at Elizabeth Movies.
Boom.
My Instagram is just mostly photos of my cat, my embroidery, and my stand-up shows. So
Yeah, we both do stand-up. So if y'all like hearing our voices and want to hear us spit some jokes, follow us on Instagram. We got shows all the time. So just be on the lookout for that. Also, make sure you go to our Instagram page and and follow, and make sure
we're at Show Me What Podcast.
Show Me What Podcast.
And that
you find our links to everything. Yeah. Follow us everywhere. Spotify, Apple, motherfucking YouTube, motherfucking Instagram, goddamn Twitter.
Yeah, actually, there's a service that I wasn't familiar with, but we're doing great on it, and I just would like to shout them out. So let me pull up the old stats machine here. Bullhorn. I don't know Bullhorn, but we appreciate you if you're listening to us on Bullhorn or Overcast. Have been the two what do you call it? Other services besides Spotify and Apple, which are most popular. And also, fun fact, 96% of our audience is female. So what up, ladies?
Yeah, shout out to the ladies.
Shout out to our 3% of the dudes. And how you doing? 1% of our non-binary pals. How y'all feeling?
That's awesome. Sweet. I'm glad we have a good audience like that. I love
good mix.
Yeah, it's awesome. That's what's up. Well, guys, that is our show. We thank you so much for joining us, and tune in for the next episode, and we will be talking some more Sex in the City.
I skipped the intro now, by the way.
There you go.